Hello everyone. In the previous class we have discussed about practical solution, that is raised to cosine spectrum. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss about correlative level coding. As we know that ISI is an undesirable phenomena that produces decoding errors and thereby degrades the system performance. Right. Now in this particular topic we will see how the system performance can be improved by adding the ISI in a controlled manner. By adding ISI to the transmitted signal in a controlled manner, it is possible to achieve a signaling rate equal to the Nyquist rate of 2W symbols per second in a channel of bandwidth W hertz. Right. As we know that this is the main principle behind our ideal Nyquist channel, right? We are transmitting at a rate of 2W samples or symbols per second in a channel of bandwidth W hertz. That can be achieved by this correlative level coding. Since ISI is introduced in the transmitted signal, which is known to us, its effect can be interpreted at the receiver in a deterministic manner. Now, first we are going to discuss about duo-binary signaling. So, in case of duo-binary signaling also, we are using the same notations which we are used in the baseband transmission system. Okay, so the message sequence BK consists of uncorrelated binary symbols, that is ones and zeros, each of duration TB. This sequence is applied to a PAM, producing a two-level sequence of short pulses whose amplitude AK is defined as. Okay, so similar to the block diagram which we have used, or similar to the parameters which we have used in the block diagram of your baseband transmission system, here also we are using BK for the message sequence, that is ones and zeros, and AK is a short pulse and it is defined as +1 if symbol BK is 1 and -1 if symbol BK is 0. Now let us look at the block diagram of duo-binary signaling scheme. Okay, in its input we have two-level sequence AK. Okay, then we have a delay of TB. Then you can see a block of ideal Nyquist channel H of F. Then the output is sampled at T is equal to KTB. Now the final output sequence is, that is CK. Okay, so CK is equal to AK plus AK minus 1. Okay, where CK is equal to AK plus AK minus 1. We are giving an input which is two-level sequence. We know that AK is +1 and -1. But at the output, we can see at the output of the duo-binary encoder, it is converted into a three-level sequence. That is CK is equal to AK plus AK minus 1. So, in this way, we will get -2, 0 and +2. Let us see how we can get these three outputs at the duo-binary encoder. Okay. Now let us see how we can get three-level sequence. Okay, by using this particular formula, CK is equal to AK plus AK minus 1. Now if AK and AK minus 1 both are +1, then the value of CK is equal to +2. If both AK and AK minus 1 both are -1, then CK is equal to -2. And if AK is equal to +1 and AK minus 1 is equal to -1, then CK is equal to 0. So in this way we will get the value of CK as +2, 0 and -2. Okay, now we will derive the frequency response of duo-binary encoder, which is the cascade of delay line filter and ideal Nyquist channel, as we have seen in the block diagram, right, of duo-binary encoder. In that we have a delay line filter as well as we have an ideal Nyquist channel, right. An ideal delay element producing a delay of TB seconds has the frequency response of e raised to -j2 pi FTB. So that the frequency response of delay line filter is 1 plus e raised to -j2 pi FTB. Okay, so the frequency response of delay line filter is 1 plus e raised to -j2 pi FTB. Hence, the overall frequency response of duobinary encoder is given as H Nyquist F multiplied by 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb. So this particular equation, that is H1f, that shows the frequency response of duobinary encoder. That is our overall frequency response of that particular diagram, duobinary encoder. Okay, so we know that in our diagram, in that block diagram, you have seen a delay, and next block diagram, next block is of your ideal Nyquist channel, right? So as we know that the delay has a frequency response of 1 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb, and the frequency response of that ideal Nyquist channel, that is written as H Nyquist F. Okay, so these two parameters are of delay and ideal Nyquist channel. Okay, so the overall frequency response of duo and binary encoder will be multiplication of these two responses of delay as well as of ideal Nyquist channel. Okay, now we are going to solve it. Okay, so H Nyquist F is remains same. Now we will take common as e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb by 2. The rest will be in the bracket. Okay, then we have solved it, so we will get it like this: H Nyquist F e raised to minus j pi f tb in bracket e raised to j 2 pi f tb plus e raised to minus j 2 pi f tb, or by using the formula e raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta divided by 2, that is equal to cos theta. So in this way we can write, or we can modify the equation as 2 H Nyquist F cos, in place of theta we will write pi f tb. Okay, then the common term, that is e raised to j minus j pi f tb. Okay, so where the subscript 1 in H1f, you can see an H1f, we have written H1f, where 1 shows, it indicates the class 1 partial response. For an ideal Nyquist channel of bandwidth, W is equal to 1 by 2 TB. Okay. Now, we need to find out the frequency response of that particular block, that is your ideal Nyquist channel, right? H Nyquist F. So we are going to calculate it. Okay. Now for an ideal Nyquist channel of bandwidth W, that is equal to 1 by 2 TB. Okay. So the response H Nyquist F, that is equal to TB for F is less than or equal to 1 by 2 TB or 0 otherwise. Okay, so the value of H Nyquist F will be TB. Now we are going to substitute the value of H Nyquist F as TB in this particular, in the previous equation of H1F. So our equation will be converted into H1F is equal to 2 TB cos pi f TB e raised to minus j pi f TB. Okay. So in place of H Nyquist F, I have written TB. That's it. Okay. Now look at the diagram shown here. Okay. Now we are going to substitute the value of F. If we will substitute the F is equal to 1 by 2 TB, okay, we will get 2 TB cos pi by 2 e raised to minus j pi f TB. That means cos 90 is equal to 0. That means at the value of 1 by 2 TB, we will get 0. Okay, the response will be 0. Now if we substitute F is equal to 0, you will get 2. Right, and that is written here. Okay, that is shown in this particular diagram. Okay, now we need to calculate H1t, that is small h1t, in time domain. Okay, so how we can calculate in time domain? Just take the inverse Fourier transform of H1f. Okay, so we have taken the inverse Fourier transform and we will get it like sinc t by TB plus sinc t minus TB by TB. You have to do it. Okay, just solve this and you will get it like this. So how we can represent in the form of diagram that is shown here. Okay, so since we have written the equation in the terms of sinc function, it is drawn like this: sinc t by tb and sinc t minus tb by tb. Okay, thank you.